Hey, cool people. I'm back today with a pet peeve of mine, which is all of this garbage talk about growth mindset. Try new things, climb your Everest, be the next best version of you. First of all, you can't spell fixed mindset without the word fix, as in you used to be worried about your mindset, but now you don't have to be because it's fixed. And you can't spell growth mindset without the word ow, like I tried something new and then I got hurt. Ow. Mic drop. Today, we're talking about how you can avoid the numerous traps for growing accidentally by really digging your heels in and committing to that fixed mindset. So stay tuned because I'd hate for you to grow by accident in the meantime. If you start to notice yourself almost accidentally, wondering what if things could get better? What if, I didn't have to work at a job that I hated? What if I didn't have to be in a relationship where I'm not respected or whatever? When you start thinking like that, you need to realize that you are tiptoeing on the verge of making changes that could be scary for a season. So if I were you, I would stop and shit yourself. What do I mean by that? S, shame. H, humiliation. I, insecurity. T, times you got it wrong. If you can create an inside mental movie of those things, you will be an unstartable force of fixed mindset. If that feels like a lot to accomplish while you're just like on your lunch break at work, then I would encourage you to just start with an embarrassing memory. For example, every once in a while, completely by accident, I'll start to feel really confident about myself, like my face and ideas and personhood and general place on this earth. And then I'll remember that when I was in like 7th or 8th grade, I used to walk up to the microphone at church after the service. They just left the mic on. And I would sing the Dairy Queen theme song really loud, like over and over. And if you don't remember, it's the one that's like, come home to that feeling and meet me at DQ. I knew all the words to the whole song. And I would just sing it like a lot. And that's usually just enough. Like it's just that memory of the fact that people were trying to have conversations, presumably about something meaningful that they had learned in church, would be interrupted by me singing the Dairy Queen song loudly into the microphone. And sure enough, all my confidence just like, there it goes. Your thing doesn't have to be singing the Dairy Queen theme song in front of tens and tens of people. It can be anything. Just find a shame rock that you can come back to and stop yourself anytime you start to get into that pre-growth thinking. Find your shame rock. One thing to really be on the lookout for is visualization. So you've probably heard people talk about visualization and how it's really important for growth mindset. To imagine yourself doing the thing that you aim to do. Imagine things, how they could be, and just spend some time thinking about that. What I like to do to interrupt that is to follow the fear rabbit trails that will naturally come up. For example, if I catch myself starting to imagine speaking in front of thousands of people or being interviewed on a show with a huge platform about my work that I've dedicated my life to, I like to go ahead and start imagining the litany of ways it could go horribly wrong. I could trip. I could fart. I could say something that makes people really angry, and then they could say really hurtful, hateful, mean things in the comments. An ex-boyfriend could be in the audience or could see the recording later, and then they could post something that's really humiliating. Even worse, a hero of mine could be in the audience, like Brene Brown or Amy Grant, and they could stand up after I'm done talking and say, I have never been more disappointed in my entire life. Or I could be wearing a slightly revealing outfit because I was trying to seem fancy, and then I could laugh or have like an accidentally natural reaction and my boob could pop out, and then half of my family would disown me because everybody's super religious. I don't know you, and I don't know your secret fears and your private shames and the ideas that come rolling through your mind when you imagine putting yourself out there and trying something new. But I do know this. And I want you to really listen right now. Those things will probably happen if you try something new. Neuroplasticity is basically the understanding that you can change your brain. You can change the actual neural pathways that create certain habits. You can physically do certain behaviors that set you up for success when you're trying to break old habits and form new, better habits. Yikes! The shockingly scary thing about this is that some of the things are really simple, like little things you can do to support neuroplasticity every day that can make a huge difference. So it's really easy to accidentally do this, so it's important to avoid this trap. Do not learn about it. I made the mistake of learning about it, and I wound up doing improv. And I've had tons of horrible shows, and one time even earned the theater a 1-star review. Now, I also made lasting friendships, had lots of good shows, made lots of happy memories, learned a ton about myself, and wound up getting one of my all-time favorite improvisers to write the foreword for my book. But who cares about any of that stuff? When you grow, painful things will happen, and it should therefore be avoided at all costs. The more time you spend on social media, the better. And don't just scroll mindlessly. Engage, like stuff, dislike stuff, argue with people in the comments. That way, the robots behind social media start learning what you like and, more importantly, what you don't like, and they will make sure that you get deeply entrenched in your echo chamber. This is really helpful for our number one ally in fixed mindset, which is affirmation bias. The more we surround ourselves with people who think, act, and live like us, the more we convince ourselves that the way that we think, act, and live is normal, the best thing, and pervasive, how everybody does it. And when you think that the way you do things is the right way, there's no need to change. I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but social media, especially over the last 5 years or so, has become an ally of affirmation bias. So don't hesitate to make that infinity scroll feature work for you, honey. Scroll, 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 scroll. As Dory would say it, keep on scrolling, keep on scrolling, keep on scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. What do? We scroll. Ha 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 ha! Spend as much time as possible imagining all of the ways your desired endeavors could end in humiliation and failure. Convince yourself of your general unworthiness by dredging up old memories from the past. Do not seek help. Do not find safe people to talk to about your feelings of shame and humiliation. Don't try new things. Don't learn about neuroplasticity. Don't learn about affirmation bias. Spend as much time on social media as possible. Do not download the BetterHelp app. Unlike everything else on the internet, they are not a sponsor of this video. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this week's installment of Bad Advice for Cool People. If you would like advice that's different in tone from this advice, I hope you'll check out my book. It's called The Funny Thing About Forgiveness, and it's chock full of advice for making a positive impact in the world. I also hope that you'll check out the Mindful Improv community. It's free, and it's a global network of people using mindful improv thinking ideas to do their part in making the world a braver, kinder, safer place. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!